everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today is a special day because I'm going to resume my interviews in English. And to do that, let's bring to the next guest. He is Alireza Srodi, Assistant Professor of the University College of Dublin in the subject of Electric Power Systems, who is going to talk to us about a novel optimization technique to increment our influence on social media. Thank you, Alireza, for coming.
Thank you very much for having me. It's my pleasure to be with you and your audience today.
Thanks for accepting again. Let's start with the questions. Who is Alireza Srodi and what do you like the most about your job?
Okay, very good. Good question, but difficult answer is going to happen here. So who is me? Actually, I'm Alireza. I have done my PhD and master thesis in electrical power system engineering with a specific focus on renewable energies, how we can create electricity from renewable resources like wind power, solar power, and how to make it economic and also environmentally friendly. And in recent years, I have developed some more interest in the application of the optimization methodologies I would be using in the electrical engineering side to the other engineering applications, such as different examples are going to happen. So I have created a set of the slides. I will show it later in this interview. But as you know, in every work that we want to do, we do have some limited resources and we want to do a job at our best and we want to maximize the impact of our activities. So the optimization techniques are very applicable in different areas, and we will see some examples in that regard.
As I said before, you're currently working as assistant professor at the University College of Dublin. So please tell us, which are your main research topics of interest?
My main area of research is more related to the power system engineering and trying to optimize the decision regarding the operation and planning of the energy systems. But I do teach a module in graduate level called Optimization Techniques for Engineers. In that specific module, I teach the students how to use the optimization methods for solving realistic applications in different areas of engineering, actually.
Oh, that's terrific.
Yeah.
All right, then. Next questions. I ask you this last question because as a lecturer in electrical power system, you post recurrently histories on LinkedIn portraying different cells of yours. That is, your expertise seems to be beyond the sole scope of electrical engineering and power systems. Are these posts some of your hobbies, or are you seriously committed to any other field you can achieve some expertise?
Yeah, actually, very good question. So what I usually do is engaging with different companies, with different projects in Ireland and also internationally regarding the optimization and the optimal decision making. However, the post I put on LinkedIn is trying to promote using the open source softwares for solving the very difficult and complicated optimization problems. Some of them may look like very easy. Maybe they are easy to understand, but they are not easy to implement. So when you go deep inside those formulation, it's a very difficult one, actually. So my idea is providing the opportunity to everybody to learn and also use these kind of techniques in their own applications. So all of these techniques will be translated into math. So there is a linkage between these examples, which is math, which is my hobby, and I really love it. Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. Good to know. So as an optimization expert as you are, you seem to be passionate about optimizing every single thing, included but not limited to chess games, moon rovers, trajectory, facilities for travelers, and so on. Recently, and that's why I brought you here, you found a way through optimization techniques to become an influencer on many platforms faster and coping with many audiences' time zones. Can you please explain us how this algorithm works?
Yeah, is that okay if I share my screen at this stage to show you some,
As you wish.
let's say, good slides? Okay, so let me share my screen. Okay, I hope you can see it now.
Yes, I will, please.
Very good. So the idea of using the optimization technique for improving the social media engagement or management is very simple to understand, actually. So when you post an item on different platforms like Twitter, Instagram, or even YouTube, your audience might be living in different countries. Some of them are sleeping at the moment, but some of them are awake and watching your content, okay? So depending on the spread of your audience around the world, they might have different time zones, okay? So you can also have some access to the historic data of how they are interacting with your content. For example, suppose we are in Europe at the moment, okay? And we do have some audience in the US. At the moment, it's around morning in the US, for example, or in the South America. So what we need to do is try to understand, okay, if I post my item at this specific time step, for example, now it's 3 p.m. in Europe. We want to know if I post my item at the moment, how many interaction do I get with that post from my audience in the, for example, in the South America or the North America or in the China or in Austria or whatever. Okay, so the way we try to do that is trying to find out what is the best way of doing that. What is the best way of engaging more people? Because we do have limited resources, we do have limited number of time steps in every day. We do have only 24 hours to work, okay? So, and also, for example, we want to only post, let's say, 3 posts per day or 3 photos per day, okay? We want to make sure that we are optimally using those resources in order to achieve the best results, in order to increase our engagement with the audience, okay? So this algorithm is very simple. So the way it does is making decision about which content you are going to create. For example, is it going to be a tweet? Is it going to be a video, or is it going to posting a photo on your platform, for example? And you already should know that each item, how much audience will bring for you at different time steps. So this is the tricky part, because the historic data might not be always available, but some estimate of the previous actions might be helpful in this way. So what you are doing here is trying to find out your best optimal decision regarding the timing and which type of item should be posted on your platform, considering the fact that it will create different audience in different countries. So you will not only consider your audience in the Europe, but also in some other countries as well. The more data we have, the more accurate and more optimal decision we can make in this regard, okay? There are some mathematics formulation behind that. I don't want to explain it here because it might be beyond the scope of this call, but also there are some other applications here that, okay, when you change the pattern of your decision, the number of total audience you will get is different. Another way of engaging with people and using the optimization problem is very applicable in the aviation industry, okay? So you are in the control room and there are multiple number of airplanes rotating in the sky, and you want to make sure that no damage is going to happen to the airplane and passengers, and also they will sit on the ground in an optimal way. What does it mean, optimal? Each airplane will have some target time, okay? They have some target time here. And the ideal case is that they will land on the floor at their target time. But you can imagine that there might be some delay in the previous flights or some earliness in the previous one. So there is also a tolerance happening here. So the decision maker here is trying to find out how to schedule these airplanes in the sky, which is a very tricky and risky job, to land optimally on the ground and considering all these constraints I discussed here. So everybody will sit on the ground at their target time. And if there is any penalty because of the earliness or tardiness, those penalties are going to be minimized, okay? So we want to minimize the deviation from the target time here, okay? And so there are some mathematical formulation. I'm not going to discuss it here, but just wanted to show you the optimization application is not only limited to the power system engineering or any other aspects. Okay, so this shows that, for example, the airplane should land on the ground this way in an optimal way. Another application is, for example, now the COVID is over and aviation industry are planning to attract more passengers for flying to different areas. Okay, so each company has some limited number of airplanes, okay, but they can design the interior area of their airplanes to accommodate different type of passengers, the VIP ones, business class, first class, or economy class, okay? So they can dedicate the whole space of the airplane to the economy class. They can dedicate it to the whole, all the seats will be, let's say, first class, or all of them can be a business class, or a mixture of these combinations, a combination of these options, okay? As we can see usually in the airlines. But you might have asked yourself, why don't the air company, like, let's say, different companies are working in the Europe or around the world, but why don't they all dedicate all their seats to the first class? Have you ever asked this question from yourself? Or why don't they dedicate all the seats to the economy class? If they do it economy, it means that there is no chance they can make money for the first class kind of passengers. If they dedicate it to all first class, they might have a risk that they cannot sell all the seats because they are more expensive, okay? So, and if they know beforehand how many first class passengers they will have, how many business and how many economy, the task is easy, yes, because we will put it equal to the number of the future passengers. But the difficult part is that we don't know exactly how many first class passengers we will have, or how many business class we will have, or how many economy class we will have. So there is an uncertainty happening here. It means that we are not sure about the number of passengers in the future, but at the moment we need to design the interior area of our airplanes. Although we don't know exact numbers, okay? Because it depends on the profit of the company depends on our decision, okay? So this is called the Snapsec type of problem. Let's have a sack. There is a limited space. We want to put some items in it. We want to maximize its value. This is the general, let's say, umbrella that we describe these type of optimization problems. So we need to design the seat layout. Yes. Should they be all economy? Should they be all first class, or a combination of them? What is the optimal combination of that? So should they be all first class? If we go with this direction, we will have more seats. If we go with business class, the layout of the seats will be different. Economy class is also different, okay? Or the mixed class is the optimal solution. And how much space should be dedicated to first class? How much space should be dedicated to the other classes, okay? To make sure that we can sell all of these seats to the passengers and supply the market, yeah? So as you saw, this is very important. We need to know the probability of happening the future, okay? So we want to make sure that we know how many of our future customers are coming from the first class category, or how many of them will be coming from the business class category. So in this way, we are somehow capturing the factors of the uncertainty. Although we don't know the exact future, but we will have some estimate of the future. And based on those estimations, we want to make some optimal decision in order to maximize our benefit, okay? So there are some mathematical formulation. I don't know if you see my picture here, or you just see my screen, I don't know.
No, I see both.
Both, okay, so I move my picture below here so it doesn't cover the slides. Okay, so you see some formulation. I'm not going to discuss them, but just want you to know that these type of optimization are very applicable in the different industries. Another interesting one is the port management. So beside the sea, you might have seen these big containers, these colorful containers. They are very nicely put together. As you can imagine, if we do have a limited space here, and we need to make sure that we are correctly putting these containers beside each other. We don't want to have any overlap. We can't put the containers over each other, for example. So look at these boxes, these empty boxes. We want to make sure that they are sitting beside each other and they are occupying the minimum space. Yes. It seems very easy, but it's actually a super difficult problem to solve, optimization problem to solve, because creating the non-overlapping condition is a bit difficult in math. And also we will face with some kind of binary decision variables. So you might have heard something about the curse of binary, 0 or 1, to be or not to be. Okay, so when the number of binary variable increases, the computation cost and computation burden increases exponentially. We will need some very powerful, let's say, solvers to solve these type of optimization problems. So we want to make sure that they are correctly put together and nicely sit together. And also sometimes we can rotate these containers, we can't rotate these containers. So depending on the flexibilities that we have, we can create the optimal decision variables, okay? Another interesting example is football team selection, okay? So let's say Sir Alex Ferguson or Jose Mourinho wants to select the best team for himself. So there are three different factors that are important: the cost of the players, the post that they want to play, and the quality of the players, okay? All these factors should be taken into account. So look at these colorful dots. Each color is representing one post. So the red ones are goalkeepers, the green ones are defenders, black ones are mid defenders, and the yellow ones are the forward players. So this is the league of somewhere, for example, okay? There are 500 players, for example, available, and we want to select only a limited number of them. We can't select all of them. We can't buy all of them. We do have a budget, limited budget, and we want to make sure that the constraints of the team are met. For example, we want to buy, let's say, only 5 forward players, only 8 midfielders, and only 6 defenders, and only 3 goalkeepers. We don't want to buy all the goalkeepers in the league, okay? Because we can't play with all of them, okay? So as you can see, we do have limited budgets. Only 11 players will start. So it means that we need to make some optimal decision to make the value of the team optimized. So you see here, some decisions are taken here. Depending on how much budget we want to spend, you see, if I increase the budget, the selected players will change. The quality of the, let's say, team will increase. And this is an example that shows how optimization problem can be used for improving the quality of a football team, for example. Okay, and this is another interesting one. So suppose you do have a rescue team, and that rescue helicopter can search a limited area. And you have heard that some people have been lost in a large area of the sea. You don't know exactly where they are located. You just know that the probability of finding people in different areas are different, and those probabilities are known. So the dark color shows higher probability, for example. Light colors show less probability, okay? So helicopter can start from any cell, for example, from here, but it can only move to its neighbor cell. So it can search here. If it's found, then it's good. But if they can find the lost people, they can go to the neighbor cell. Yeah. And also we know that helicopter has some limited amount of fuel, so it can't search all the areas. So let's say it can only search, let's say, 5 connected cells. So where should we start the searching procedure? In which direction we should should go and try to find people. So as you can see, by increasing the, let's say, fuel capacity of the helicopter, for example. So you can see that the optimal decision for deployment of the rescue team will change. So these type of optimization are very seriously needed in the actual, let's say, industries. For example, rescue team deployment, or let's say port management, or football team management, or different areas actually. So they are not limited to one specific, let's say, industry. Everybody can use them to improve their decision. And also they are important because our resources are limited. That's why we do need the optimization methodologies. And I have used the Pyomo, which is an open source Python package that can be used for solving and creating those optimization problems. And it can be easily used by everybody.
Speaking of easily used for everybody, this library of Python, I was wondering something, because most of these advancements in terms of algorithms and optimization techniques are a thought for people who wants to develop something for, let's say, large companies or their own entrepreneurship. But how can common people with have no idea about how algorithm works can benefit of such advancements? For example, these two examples, clearly, the one of incrementing your social media influence, or let's say using this algorithm to look for flight tickets in an optimum way, so that you cannot rely or depend on any web service to do that.
So actually, if you don't have any math background, then it means that it's not very easy to use these tools, okay? But if you can be also the users of these methodologies, so maybe somebody with the math background can develop these methodologies, and then other people can use them, okay? So when I say it's easy, I mean that since these packages do not need any specific license, and they are freely available, that means that everybody can go and learn them. There are lots of resources, very useful resources on the web. They are available for everybody to use them, actually.
Yes, and for example, this algorithm for incrementing social media influence can be the way traditional algorithms of such as social medias work?
Yeah, actually, actually, to be honest with you, when you use some, let's say, commercial websites, and they can decide when to post your media on your, let's say, Twitter or Instagram or somewhere else, you don't know exactly what they do, but they will definitely use the historic data for doing that, okay? So this new algorithm is also using the historic data and formulate the problem in a way that, for example, if you know that at time one, posting an item at one specific time period can bring you more audience for you, it will do it for you. And also it considers the constraints that you have into account, okay? So for example, you say, I can't stay awake after, let's say, 10 p.m. in the night, okay? But algorithm will consider that, okay, if you can stay more, then it's better to post your item at 8 p.m. instead of 10 p.m., for example. It will create more audience for you because it considers the fact that in China, more people are watching your platform, for example, or in the South America, and more people are waiting for your content to be online, you see? So then the good thing about these methodology is that it's very clear and it is very flexible, and it can also consider any constraints that you do have in your mind. But on the commercial ones, if those commercial websites have provided such a facility, then it's doable. Otherwise, you can't be very flexible with them, you know? But this one, you can create your own type of constraints and objective function, actually.
Speaking of that, which ones of these algorithms are available for general purpose to be replicated. I understand perfectly that some of them can be subjected to confidentiality agreements.
Actually, the algorithm behind that is not very complicated and it's openly available. But the only thing that these, let's say, methodology needs is the historic data. Okay, so I should, or anybody who is using this methodology should know that, for example, if Brenda is going to post an item at 7 p.m., okay, it means that this content will have this amount of audience from China, this amount of audience from South America. These data should be known, okay? So the first question is, are these data available or not? And then if this data is available, then these tools, these optimization tools can use these data to find out, okay, what is the best way of working on the social media? Otherwise, it doesn't work. And actually, the positive thing about the commercial, let's say, website is that they do have the data for the past. You know, they do have the historic data. That's their winning card.
Yes, actually, they have the data and they do the service for you for paying a certain fee. So if you want to replicate your algorithm with the historic data, you have to look for it by yourself, replicate the algorithm and see what happens.
Exactly.
The easiest way, for example, in my case, to cope with that, let's say, for example, this content is entirely in English, and I noticed that my most audience in this language is from India. So I must assure that I program the release at Indian time zones instead of, let's say, Spanish or American time zones.
Very good. Very good example. Okay, so for example, you do have an English content. Okay, and you know that, for example, let's, for simplicity and easy work with the numbers, let's say it will have 1,000 audience from India, and let's say 400 audience from Spanish-speaking countries, for example, okay, for this specific time period. So in total, it will have 1,400 audience, yeah? But however, if I move to 1 hour later, and that might say that for Spanish speaking, it will be 500, but Indian audience will stay 1,000. So the total will be 1,500, okay? So it's better wait 1 hour and then release the post. You know what I mean? So, but when the number of countries increases, when the number of constraints increases, it's not very easy to decide, okay, which time period is the best one. You know what I mean? So the algorithm will see all of these all together and gives you the optimal decision at the end.
Yes, exactly. Actually, I already have English language content, a part of yours, and without knowing how this algorithm was working, I was deciding, okay, if it's in English language, I will release it in India first, and if it's in Spanish language, I will release it in Mexico instead, because Mexico and whole Latin America can give me, can allow me to get a broader audience if I release it in Spain only.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm not sure how we can limit the audience to one specific country. You know what I mean? So we can say, when we release the content, only people from one specific country are allowed to watch it, you know?
No, I told you these time zones because they are broader if compared, for example, with Spain or UK.
Yeah.
You can embrace more audience if you can move the time zone you are releasing your content.
Of course.
That's why.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
Okay, I will continue with the questions.
Yeah. Should I stop sharing my screen, or we can have it?
Yes, if you want to.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Okay, the next question is, what was the reason behind undertaking these approaches? As I told you, you are a power system engineer lecturer, but you are doing many things to optimize. What is the reason behind that?
Yeah, very good. Because actually, when I talk about the power system area, there are not many people, let's say, expert in that area or more interested in that area. We are talking about the power system cables. We are talking about the power plants. And actually, I just wanted to show that these methodologies are much broader than what we do in power system. So for example, you can see here that we are moving from one cell to another cell. It means that from I, we need to go to J. This is exactly happening in the power system as well. We want to make sure that all the customers are connected to the network and they are being supplied with the clean and, let's say, affordable energy. Okay, there's a strong linkage between these applications that I show you on the different industries and also on the power system. So, but the namings are different, you know what I mean? So we call them, let's say, transmission lines on the power system, but here we can name it something else, you know? So the nature of them are exactly the same, but, and also I do have some content regarding the chess. So how we can put the queens on the surface of the chessboard without attacking each other, for example. Some people might say that there's no real applications for these type of methodologies or examples. They might be correct or true, but when you are capable of modeling these, let's say, easy looking but difficult in nature problems, then you can easily tackle any other, let's say, practical examples, you know? So that's why I think that different industries will need the usage of the optimization methodologies.
Yes, actually, you're right about that. It's something contradictory because some content creators which has any technical background, they face tough times when they're trying to share their content because it's so specific, so technical that not all of the people are interested in. And in my case, my YouTube channel is trying to broaden many scopes or topics, not only engineering. Otherwise, maybe no one is going to subscribe. And I take the example of Lex Friedman. He's an LinkedIn influencer and he's a consolidated YouTuber, and he speaks about many other things rather than just big data and machine learning.
Yeah, exactly. And also these days you hear much about them data engineering and machine learning, not much about the optimization methodologies, because I know the experts are aware of that, but some people who hear more about the data science and machine learning thinks that they are they are free of any kind of optimization, but which is wrong. At the core of all these machine learning and data science packages and applications, there's an optimization. You are trying to minimize some error for your forecasting. You are trying to increase the similarity of different patterns to each other, for example, okay? And also, as you said, when I create some posts on the LinkedIn, some people will send me some private messages saying that, okay, these are very simple, share more advanced ones with us, okay? But I usually reply to them, to be honest with them, and this is a very honest answer, these only seem to be very simple, but when you want to implement them, they are very complicated and advanced, you know? So if you can do them yourself, you can try it, that's fine. Even, for example, you do have two, let's say, rectangles, and you just want to make sure they are not overlapping each other, okay? What is the mathematical condition for writing that? It's very complicated. Not many people can write it down, okay? It seems to be easy, but that's not easy at all. So these are good steps toward implementation of more realistic kind of optimization problems. So when you can learn coding them, you can easily code the more difficult ones as well.
Yeah, tell me about it. You're completely right. So next question, do you consider yourself an influencer, or would you like to turn into one?
Okay. So if I see myself as an influencer, I just want to influence people on trusting their capabilities and abilities and develop more skills and come out of their comfort zone. Because first time I was, previously I was working on the area, only on the area of the power system application. And I was using some, let's say, commercial solvers and softwares, which needed the license. And then I was offered a job in a private company, and they didn't want to buy the license for that commercial one, so they couldn't use it. They just wanted to use the Python, you see. So I had to learn it myself and try to gather different resources, you see. And also, when I started learning that, I found it a little bit difficult because there were some examples shared by different peoples. They were not very, let's say, easy to understand. So I tried to create some content in this regard. They should be, I think they should be attractive to different people with different backgrounds, and encourage them to, let's say, use these available tools and improve their own business, actually.
Oh, that's really good to know. So finally, I was going to ask you what kind of influence you want to exert on people, but you already answered that question prior to even formulate it.
Okay.
So let's finish this interview asking you, apart from LinkedIn, where I found you, how else people can find you?
They can't. I'm also available with my email, actually. So the email is shared with the audience here. I think it's the first slide, I think. So alireza.surudi@gmail.com. So, and also my LinkedIn page is also available here. I'm not active on the Instagram or other kind of platforms. Or there are some videos of me explaining the optimization methodologies regarding the power system on YouTube as well. But I'm not very active in that area as well.
It's okay. With that information is quite enough to contact you and approach you. So, Alireza, thank you so much for coming here, and I hope you keep succeeding with your focus on optimization techniques. It's something that attracts people on LinkedIn.
Yeah, I need to add one more small thing here. So as I said, the content I publish regularly, as I said, they look simple, but they are not simple, first of all. And also, sometimes I spend a lot of time for finding nice applications and formulating in a language that is understandable for everybody. So finding good examples and is another, it's a very time-taking kind of activity, you know. So thank you for everybody who supports these type of activities and sharing them with everybody, so everybody can learn and let's say grow more.
Well, thanks to you, and thank you so much, people, for watching. Please do not forget to subscribe to my channel, and if you are subscribed already, please share, comment, or activate the ring bell for creating more content to you. It's always so. Bye-bye.